Ladies and freedom lovers, Andy here, author of the best Tinder guide on the internet, and anti-authoritarian. This is the Kill You're in a Loser show. Let's fucking go. It's going to be a fairly chilled, relaxed one today. I want to give some of you guys something that I hope will make you feel a little better. I've been getting some questions lately from people saying, lockdowns and mask bullshit and all that kind of, all the rules that are going on at the moment or have been going on for the last couple of years are sort of starting to get to me. A few of you express it in the way that you'll say, I want to go out and talk to women, but I'm sick of everyone wearing a mask. I'm sick of all this bullshit. I just want it to go back to normal. Or I've been getting more flakes lately. I myself have been getting a shitload of flakes because here in Australia we're having outbreaks and shit like that. We're finally getting this disease that we were supposed to have magically fixed by locking down the country for 2 years. Guess what? That didn't work. It was never going to work. But we're getting all the COVID shit coming through now. And everyone here is like panicking. I say everyone. A lot of people here are panicking, going, oh my God, we're all going to fucking die. And so it's really hard to get chicks on dates right now. They're flaking, they're unreliable, they're saying now's not the best time. Half of them are quarantining because someone they know caught this magical fucking deadly disease. So I understand the flaky shit. And quite a few people have been sort of saying to me, the flakes are getting to me, the rules are getting to me, the fact that we're not going back to normal is getting to me. I'm worried about increasing authoritarianism. I'm worried about what happens next. I'm worried about governments, about this, about that, about, New World Order, the global elites, all that kind of shit. So I want to give you guys a podcast that, like I said, will hopefully make you feel better. I'm not one to sort of sit here and complain about the negatives. You'll notice anytime I do complain about a negative, I will then tell you how to deal with it. I'll tell you something to help you move on. I don't like to sit there and just cry and complain and say, this sucks, like, what are we going to do? I don't like to focus on helplessness. So I've got a long list of, dot points and things that I think will make you guys feel better, actionable steps I want you to take. But the first thing I'm going to say is I get it, right? I've lived in Australia for the last 2 years. A big portion of that was in Melbourne, where we had some of the worst lockdowns in the entire fucking world. The worst rules, 23 hours a day you had to stay inside. We had curfews. You could only go outside for 1 hour a day. Police were shooting protesters with rubber bullets and tear gas. Fucking psychotic shit, right? Not a nice place to live. Vaccine, passports, all that kind of, bullshit. So I understand. I empathize. I really do. I'm going to get it. Above all people, I'm going to understand that this shit is frustrating, that at times it can feel overwhelming, you can feel depressed. I promise you I get it. I want you to focus more, rather than focusing on all the shit that's bothering you, all of the stuff that's upsetting you, worrying about the future. Where is this going to lead? Is my country ever going to go back to normal? Is it just going to get worse? What's next? Are we going to have digital IDs and this and that? Rather than stressing about what might happen or where the future is going to go, I know it's hard, but this is the time where you need to focus on positive things, on yourself, on what you can change. Because if you sit there and think about where things might go, you're making yourself a victim. You can't stop people from doing what they're going to do. You can't stop the fucking elites or whoever it is that you're worried about. You can't stop them doing what they're going to do. They're going to do whatever they want to do. What you can control is your reaction to it. You can control the daily actions you take every single, moment that you're on this fucking planet. And you can control how you feel about this stuff. I know that's easier said than done, but I'm going to go through some steps and actionable steps on how you can work on this shit. So first thing I'll say is focus on the positives, not the negatives. Look around you. Look at all the things you have to be grateful for. You're grateful for the internet. You're grateful for podcasts like this that hopefully make you feel a little better. You're grateful for positive books. You're grateful for your friends. You're grateful for self-improvement. You're grateful for my forums or other forums that make you feel better. Whatever it is, come up with a list of as many possible things you can of things to be grateful for. Rather than sitting there and going, my country sucks, or look at the decline of the West, or, authoritarians and totalitarians are ruining my fucking life, or I'm sick of these rules, I want things to go back to normal, or why are women being so fucking cautious around this stupid fucking disease? Can't they just meet me instead of being flaky? I understand all that, but stop focusing on that. All that serves to do is make you more unhappy. My mission here is to make you happier, okay? And your mission needs to be the same thing. Help me help you. So stop focusing on the negatives, try and focus on the positives. Come up with some things you're grateful for. Second thing I'll say is, and this will really help with that, read a book called You Can't Afford the Luxury of a Negative Thought. It's called You Can't Afford the Luxury of a Negative Thought. Go and read that fucking book. Amazing book on moving your mind like out of these negative sort of habits or thoughts and into the fucking positive, to focus on the positive, to be grateful, all that kind of stuff. Another book that does the same thing is Letting Go by David Hawkins. So Letting Go, David Hawkins. Amazing book, same sort of shit. Letting go of anger, of frustration, of disappointment, moving you out of that feeling of like, I'm a victim, and up into like, okay, I have some courage. I'm going to take some actionable steps. I'm going to do something. Another good book is Jocko Willink's book, Extreme Ownership. Less important than the first two. The first two books I just gave you will give you most of what you need, but that book is just like reinforcing this idea of like, I'm not a victim. I'm going to take ownership. There's always something I can do. I've done a podcast called There Is Always Something You Can Do. Go and listen to that. But yeah, you want to focus on like what you can do. Another answer to like, if you really hate this shit, you really don't like your country, you can leave. Now, yes, I know in some countries they've made that incredibly fucking difficult. So if you don't want to leave the country, you can leave the city or wherever it is that's shit. I left my city of Melbourne because they were just being, like I said, psychotic. So we went to a new city called Brisbane. We got there, things were much, much better, but then they brought in masks and other bullshit like that, and it wasn't anywhere near as bad as the first city, but it certainly wasn't as free as I wanted. So we moved again. Now we're in a beach city. We're next to the beach. Yes, there are vaccine passports. Yes, there's bullshit like that. But for a large part, a lot of people ignore that shit. Yes, I'm going to say like 70% of people enforce the rules and all that shit. But the fact that 30% don't means I just go and patronize those businesses. I just go places where I'm not asked for my fucking vaccine bullshit, right? So go and find somewhere that will allow you to be as free as possible. Even if you can't leave the country, there will always be somewhere better. Do your best to focus on your mission, the things that you care about, your self-improvement, your friends, your losing weight, making money, getting girls, mental health, whatever it is, focus on that shit and do your best to ignore all of the insanity that's going on, because I promise you, it will pass. This shit won't go on forever. I know that certain people like to tell you and get you worked up and go, this is always going to go on, this is going to get worse and worse. No, I promise you it won't. It might in your country, it might in the city that you're in, but there are plenty of places on earth and probably places in your country where people who like freedom congregate. Go to those places. Go on Reddit and find, Reddit is a great place to find where freedom-loving people are going. Ask other people if they know anywhere to go. Look on Telegram groups. There are a ton of underground Telegram groups that will tell you good places to go and live. So go and look on there. Look for solutions, not problems. The next thing I'm going to say is move towards love. What I mean by that is stop getting bogged down in these negative emotions of like hate, anger, frustration, disappointment, hopelessness, depression. All that does is serve to keep you as a victim, which is exactly what authoritarians want, by the way. They want you to be unhappy. The last thing any authoritarian or totalitarian ever wants is for you to be happy. That like fucking destroys their soul because they're not happy. Anyone who controls other people and tells them what to do is not happy in themselves. You can't be a happy human being if you're trying to control others. By definition, you are projecting, you are not happy, you are putting that out on other people, you're wanting the world to be a certain way. That doesn't come from a place of happiness or security or love or joy or positivity. It comes from a very, very negative, dark place. And so the last thing they ever want is for you to be happy. They can't stand that. And not that you're doing this just to get back at them. You want to be happy for yourself. But if you are sitting there going like, man, I hate all these authoritarians, the best revenge is a life well lived. Go and make yourself fucking happy. Emanate love. Go and try and make the world a better place. Go and improve other people's lives. Give back to the world. Smile at people when they're horrible to you. I've done this 100 times. I've had people yell at me, where's your fucking mask? Why aren't you wearing a mask? And I'll just smile and I'll say, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. I really hope your day gets better. I've had some people apologize. Most people don't. They act like even more of a cunt, but I feel better when I emanate love out into the world. So try, I know it's hard, try and get yourself to that place, or at least give yourself permission to be happy, okay? To let yourself start being happy. The next thing I'm going to say is turn off the fucking news. Don't read anything. Don't look towards the future. Don't listen to anything they say. I did a YouTube video called Turn Off the News. And the big point that I made is the news wants you to be unhappy. It's programming to ruin your mind. The media literally wants you to be unhappy. They want you to be depressed. They want you to be scared. They want you to be ashamed of yourself. They don't want you to be powerful. Why? Because if you're happy and powerful, you don't need to watch the news, do you? You're out there busy living your life. It's why politicians and governments want you to be unhappy, so that you will listen to them and say, hey, can you make me happy? Can you tell me the answer? Can you fix society for me? Can you change my life for me? But if you're happy and independent, you don't need them. And the media and the government especially, their biggest insecurity is that they're not needed. They know they're not important. They know they're not actually required. They know that people can go and find their own happiness and their own power and build their own life. And so their biggest fear is that you will find that out. That you will figure out, oh shit, I don't need the news. I don't fucking need the news. They never tell me anything important. So go and listen to that YouTube video I did called Turn Off the News. I'll leave a link in the description. Go watch that. The next thing I'll say is don't hang out with people who are authoritarians. What I mean by that is do not have anyone in your life that wants to tell you how to live your life. And that applied even before all of this shit. If you're into self-improvement, or if you just have goals that you're trying to achieve, do not tolerate anyone in your life that tries to pull you down, that tells you shouldn't do that, or that that's dumb, or that's shallow, or here's a better way of living your life. Whether that's like religious zealots who want to tell you that what you're doing is like against God's wishes or something, whether that's family members who want to tell you that what you're doing is shallow or wrong or bad, whether it's random fucking people, whether it's people you call friends that want to say like your goals are stupid. Don't hang out with those people. That doesn't mean you have to completely fucking cut them off, although sometimes that is warranted, but spend less time with them, or don't talk to them about your goals. Don't talk to them about this shit. Don't talk to them about rules and masks and lockdowns and fucking injections and all that kind of shit. Don't talk about any of that shit. Change the subject. So don't hang out with people who are authoritarians, who want to tell you what to do. That goes a long way to improving your mental health. Don't hang out further on that point. Don't hang out with people who are negative and who want to be victims. As in people who want to cry and say, woe is me, this sucks, my life is unfair, the world is unfair, blah, blah, blah. Find people who are looking for solutions, who want to better themselves, who want to make their lives better and your life better. Right? Don't hang out with people who just complain. As I said before, find Telegram groups, as in underground sort of groups of people who are like-minded. Or you can go on my forums and find people who are into self-improvement. Now, with those people, be very careful of this. Don't sit there and complain about this shit. Don't go onto my forums and complain about like, oh, authoritarians this, totalitarians that. You'll be gently reminded to stop doing that. And then if you keep doing it, you'll just be kicked off the forums. Like the forums is a place for positivity. The same with any Telegram groups you find or any other forums you go to. Do your very, very, very best. I know it's difficult sometimes, but do your very, very, very best to not get bogged down with negativity, right? Focus on the positive. Focus on what you can do. Focus on what you're going to do in your life. Don't sit there and get bogged down by this shit. You can ask those friends or those people on forums or, Telegram groups to introduce you to other like-minded friends. And that's how you build a tribe, a network. This is exactly what I've done. I found a few friends who were into self-improvement, who were against all of the totalitarian bullshit, all of the rules, all of the made-up pretend science, all of that shit. They were against all of that, and then they introduced me to other friends, and then we built something fucking beautiful. We focused on the positive. We did not sit around talking about how bad all this is and negative and, fuck this and why are the governments doing this. No, we ignored all that shit. We built our own fucking lives, okay? So build a tribe. The next thing I'll say is check out if society doesn't want you to participate, which I know for some of you, you're living in, just like I am, you're living in shithole countries that want to have a vaccine passport and shit like that. You can't come into any business. You can't go to a cafe if you haven't had the fucking magical medicine injected into you. Okay. So for those of you, do what I've done. Decide to check out. Say, you can't fire me. I quit. If you're not going to let me into your cafes, fine. Fuck you. That's cool. I won't go to any cafes. If you're not going to let me go to the cinemas, that's fine. I'll go sit on the beach and hang out with my friends. If you're not going to let me go to, any museums, any art galleries, any tourism places, any attractions, like that's cool. Your loss. You're fucking retarded. You're losing money. I'm going to go somewhere else. So decide that If society doesn't want you to participate, that's fine. You'll just build your own mini society. The amount of I've had way more fun, genuinely, hanging out with my friends, my girlfriend Imogen, doing shit that is more focused on us now, rather than, oh my God, let's go to a cafe, let's go to an art gallery, let's go here, let's go there. Like, you can still find places, by the way, that will let you in and won't ask for your bullshit, magical fucking passport. There are plenty of places that just won't even bother with that shit. So you can go there if you want, or just check out entirely and just hang out with your fucking friends. Focus on what's important. It is far more important for you to build something with your friends. The moments you have with your friends are far more meaningful and significant than you went to a cafe or you went and watched the new fucking Matrix movie, which, by the way, is like fucking dog shit. The fuck were they doing there? But, focus on what's important. Your friends, building a tribe, self-improvement, the things that matter, right? Not going to a fucking cafe or some bullshit. Because that shit was, let's be honest, that shit was never that fucking amazing anyway. You were really just using cafes, restaurants, museums and shit as an excuse to hang out with your friends anyway. Just skip all that and hang out with your friends. You can move to a less populated city. I hinted at this before. The bigger cities, New York, Melbourne, London, like those kind of places tend to be the dog shit places when it comes to, rules and the way people treat each other. It's not even just that they follow the rules more or they make harsher, more insane rules. It's that it comes from a place of fear and hatred. When you go to a country town or a rural area or somewhere with just less people, people tend to be a lot more nice. They won't scream at you in public if you're not 100% following the rules. They won't demand to know why you've pulled your mask down for half a second, or not wearing one at all. Whereas in the cities, people tend to be less connected to each other. There's more anonymity. That's a hard word for me to say. There's more anonymity. You don't really know your neighbor. So it's fine for people to scream at each other. That happens less in the country. So you can always move to a less populated city, a smaller city, somewhere in the country, a rural place, somewhere near the beach, somewhere near, nature, whatever it is. That's an option. When I was in the city, in Melbourne with Imogen, it didn't feel very loving. It felt like everyone was full of fear, everyone was full of hate, versus when I come here, I go outside, I walk along the beach, and everyone smiles at me. They go, hey, how's your day going? Random people will talk to you. Did that ever happen in the city? Fuck no. Anyone who lives in New York or any big city, you'll be like, what the fuck? People don't talk to you in the city. Why would they ever do that? Whereas come to a smaller city, and this city is not tiny. There's 500,000 people here. So it's not pathetically small. It's still big enough to get laid, all that kind of stuff. But come to a smaller city, people are just fucking nice. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so leave the country. I said that already. Caleb Jones, if any of you follow him, Black Dragon, he used to be called, he talks a lot about leaving the country. So he's probably the best person to go to, the best resource to go to if you want to leave the country. You don't have to, but that's an option. I want to put that out there. So in short, the answer here is to move away from, the negative thoughts, the negative feelings. Authoritarians are doing this, the global elite are doing this. What's this? These people do. Oh my God, booster shots. Oh my God, this fucking 5G is making my fucking. I know none of you give a shit about 5G, but you know what I mean. People who are just the future. Oh my God, conspiracy theories. Oh my God, the government are tracking us with 5G and putting fucking shit into our dicks. And Mark Zuckerberg is gonna fucking rape me in the metaverse and jerk off to me while with Steve Jobs as ghost. They're all gonna jerk. Put all that shit out of your mind. Okay, please stop thinking about what might happen in the future. Focus on what can happen right now, as in what you can do right this second. Focus on the positive. Sitting there being afraid and worrying about what will happen or what might happen, that is what these people want. That is what governments and media want. They want you to be unhappy. They want you to be. You're playing into their hand when you do that. But if instead you feel love, you feel happiness, you feel joy, you feel gratitude, that's why I said sit there and come up with 20 things you're grateful for. When you move more in that direction and share that with other people, share your enthusiasm for life, your zest for life, even just your gratitude, when you share that with others, that's how you fucking win. When you make the world better, when you make your own life, start with your own life. Don't go out there and try and make the world better. Start by making your own life better. Make it as good as you possibly can and share that, emanate that. Fucking give off those good vibrations, as they said in the fucking 60s and 70s, all the hippies. Have a positive influence on yourself, your friends, everyone around you, and stop focusing on this negativity. Stop focusing on this shit, okay? It's just going to make it unhappy. It's going to make you unhappy. Don't sit there and get yourself anxious, worked up. If you want to talk to people who are in a similar mindset, go on my forums. There's plenty of dudes. Join my coaching if you want. I'll happily talk to you about this shit. On my forums, there's plenty of people that agree with you on this shit, that don't like authoritarianism, don't like totalitarianism. I fucking don't like it either, but I do my best. It is a struggle sometimes. I do my best to not sit there focusing on it. I turn off the news. I try not to do too many of these kind of podcasts. And even when I do podcasts on this content, what am I doing? I'm giving you positive, actionable steps. I didn't sit here and complain about how much I hate this shit. And I don't like this shit. I'll make that really clear. I don't like any of the rules. I don't like any of this shit. It's been retarded since like March 2020. In March 2020, I made a post on the Good Looking Loser forums before I even had my own forums. And I said, what the fuck are we doing locking down? What the fuck is this? Has everyone lost their fucking mind? 2020. March. I was one of the first people to say like this shit is not okay. So I get it. But please focus on the positives. Please focus on the positives. These people want you to be unhappy. They don't want you to come into your own power and build your own independence and realize that you're powerful, and you are. There is always something you can do. There are a lot of things you can do to build a happy life, an amazing life. You deserve that shit. Go do it and crush your goals.